So, of course, Manning and Brady are success stories in this exercise of making it to multiple Super Bowls. But, in their case, they're certainly winning them. This is for just appearing in Super Bowls. In the 21st century, there is Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. They both made it to 2 in a row. You have Eli Manning, who played in 2 Super Bowls, winning both. And Ben Roethlisberger played in 3. That's it. That's the list. Noticeably absent from this are 2 future Pro Football Hall of Famers, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. Not there. They made it to 1, and that's it. So for the discussion of, Burrow's going to be back, I think even he recognized this at the podium. He's like, look, there's no guarantee. And we fought all this way and came up 1 game short. We'll do everything in our power to get back to another one. He didn't say next year. He just said back to another one. It's incredibly difficult. And as you look through the path of the NFC will be difficult next year, but the AFC is just stacked based on how everything lays out right now.
Aaron Rodgers is getting grief for it now because they've been in the championship game a bunch. Drew Brees, to me, never got grief for it. Brett Favre, to me, never got grief for it, which I don't really understand. I mean, I think there's almost an American understanding about how difficult it is, but for how good those guys are and how well-regarded they are and how well-regarded some quarterbacks who did less than them are, just the pantheon that they're set at, it amazes me. I think it should really differentiate Brady, who's very differentiated, but even more so, and Manning to a degree that he went and did it with the second team and got his second. That second one's a massive deal.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that it doesn't come up more with Breeze, who's incredibly likable, or Favre, who has a certain mythology to him.
Let me give you my reasoning for that. I don't understand why Favre doesn't get more grief. But you're talking about Titletown, USA, and Green Bay versus Drew Brees bringing the only Super Bowl title to New Orleans post-Katrina. That's why he doesn't get as much grief.
There's a mythology connected to that, but that team should have done more.
But we're talking about this with the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns,
then you're putting Eli Manning in the Pro Football Hall of Fame then.
Well, I mean, that's the case for him, certainly. He went and got his too.
Let's take this step further. Let's go through the record of those quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Peyton was 2-1. We know everything about Brady and all of his rings. Russell Wilson 1-1. Patrick Mahomes now 1-1. Joe Burrow sits there at 0-1. Ben Roethlisberger 2-1, and Eli Manning 2-0. So, I mean, not just getting there a second time, but winning a second one. That list gets a lot shorter. It's then Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, and Tom Brady.
Like Mike Sando, who you guys know, and who I'm pretty good friends with. We work together at ESPN. He's at The Athletic now. He does a huge project every offseason with the quarterbacks in tiers, 4 tiers of quarterbacks for the starting thing. And I'm just surprised how with the great quarterbacks, we don't tier them more. Obviously, Brady's in a class by himself. But the way even Manning is grouped with Breeze, what Manning did was more impressive than what Breeze did, I think. In career achievement.
Peyton Manning?
Yes.
Yeah. Peyton, by the way, was 2-2. I forgot the Russell Wilson blowout win up in New York, but he was 2-2 all-time Super Bowl. So
Breeze,
4 Super Bowls.
Breeze and Manning are grouped together because they're both right there around the yardage and touchdown passes in the playoffs. I mean, so they're grouped together there. I mean, Rodgers is ahead of Favre in that regard. Favre's right there too, of course, but in passing yards, Rodgers has 5,800. Which is like 40 more than Brett Favre.
I mean, I think it's a good acknowledgement. I'm playing both sides of it here. I think it's a good acknowledgement that quarterbacks can't just take a team and go to the Super Bowl, which is as we're acknowledging here in this whole conversation the last 2 days, really hard with the Burrow no guarantee of getting back. You know, you look at Fouts, who threw for a pile of yards, who I was looking at, today, who might be one of the worst quarterbacks, quote unquote, worst quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. but wasn't in range. Marino, unquestionably one of the best quarterbacks of all time, who only got there once and didn't win. It's very much a team thing, not a quarterback thing. But when you're on a team that that has the power to get there, and you get it there, and you deliver, I think it takes you up a notch.
In line with team stuff and a team elevating themselves. The Patriots did it with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They were a perennial loser for years, and now they're a big-time winner. Can Cincinnati get – I asked this question yesterday. Will Cincinnati go past this reputation of being a loser that's cheap in the NFL to being something different? The Rams have been terrible since the greatest show on turf. And Stan Kroenke builds a palace in Inglewood and decides to pony up everything he can, and they go win a Super Bowl. I have a feeling the Rams, the reputation of that franchise, is different now moving forward. Can Cincinnati get there? Can Buffalo get there and win a Super Bowl? That's the big question mark.